Welcome back to the Two Promises podcast. Let's dive right into another exciting adventure with BD and crew as he pursues his new passion of one day finding the best, most epic bourbon. The Two Promises team sends their special thanks to Hobie and the Huckleberries for that masterful theme music. So grab a glass, relax, and enjoy responsibly.
Baby says she's leaving if I don't stop drinking wine. So I switched to whiskey and I'm feeling fine. Drinking that smooth whiskey. No more wine. I like straight bourbon. Baby, you try the ride.
Let me, formally introduce myself. This is BD. We are at BD Studios. So I'm just following some advice from my friends, consultants, whatever. They're just like, record everything, like literally everything. So, well, live recording at least is, here we are, freaking BD Studios. We're at BD Studios in my parents' basement. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So my big thing lately is like, finding those big, important, like, pivot points or benchmarks or reference points in your schedule and your future and what you've got going on, and just do whatever you can to get your mind right for those. So I had to start far in advance to get my mind ready for that podcast, knowing all the variables that I'm exposed to right now. So I just started like, okay, what do I need to do a week out? 2 days out, 3 days out, an hour out, 5 minutes out, and that constantly changes for me, and I think for everyone. So I just kind of started getting my tools around me, getting my environment, kind of collecting things. So I have this theory based on Captain Dan's recommendations, we'll call it, that Bushmills Irish whiskey, right here, I don't know if it's this exact label, but Bushmills brand is the best Irish whiskey for an Irish coffee. I have tested this theory a few times. I've had dalliances at an airport bar or a casual cafe-esque conversation where somebody's scheming, I'm sure. But what exactly are they scheming, and what level of attentiveness do I need? Let's make it an Irish coffee. Bushmills if you got it. Whipped cream? Absolutely. That's usually how it goes. But now that I'm kind of settled, at least anchored in one place for a little while, why don't I try to, for science, obviously, tease out some of these things. Prove, disprove, find new variables to experiment with. These are all good things, right? I think so. So Bushmills. Whenever I made my desperate and last-minute dash run to the liquor store whenever I finally got a vehicle to drive. I'm going to play around with this. Let me see what I can do. Oh, yeah, this is good. I think I can do this better. Is this better? I hope this is better. I think this is going to be good. I don't know. We're figuring it out. So I got Bushmills, obviously. I'm going to need a lot of coffee. We're going to need a lot of coffee. A lot of coffee. A lot of whiskey. So, Bushmills. Give it a shot in your coffee if you're one of those drinky drink people that, isn't afraid of alcohol. Yeah, so I got some Bushmills and I got some coffee. Now, I'm also into this, it's a theme I'm going to say over and over again. It's redundant. I can't help it. It keeps me on task, right? Have you seen how distractible I am? Exactly. So I'm going to need a little bit of redundancy. I think a lot of people do. That's why we practice our draws and our transitions and our shooty shoots so much, guys. All the things that you're like, wow, that's so cool. I want to shoot like James Bond and Mark Wahlberg and, that one guy that's cool now, John Wick. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then I get you guys the range and I try to teach you how to do it. And you guys are like, this is boring. Why are you looking over my shoulder? Oh, well, my finger touching the metally thingy there is okay, I'm sure. Gosh, you guys are exhausting. Coffee and whiskey, make it a double. and throw some other weird stuff in there because we've got a lot of work to do. So, I have the Black Rifle Coffee Company base. Why not? Vet brand. Who doesn't know Matt Best? Am I right or am I right? Yeah, obviously. So, base. And of course, I dabble in some nerderies here and there, keeps life interesting. So, what nerdery are we hatching things in today? It's actually Found Familiar, a RPG, tabletop RPG-based art and coffee company, like mom and pop startup type thing. Or, oh my gosh, thank you, Emily, for this one. I don't really know the dynamic of the relationship, so if this is offensive at all, please forgive me. I don't really know how this podcast thing works and, honestly, what I can say wherever. Maybe like a dink type startup instead of mom and pop. I don't know. Can I do that? I want to say thanks to Jim Brockmeyer, and Jules, and also Emily. So, thank you all for that one. Yeah. So, obviously, I mixed just a smattering of the decaf because it looked like it had a good blend of the Found Familiar coffee, and that was seeming. And then also one of the roguey ones because, hey, man, I didn't have a lot of freaking options and things whenever I made my purchase decisions or whenever I found some of this coffee, okay? And I'm trying to, like I said, anchor to everything I possibly can. I'm probably going to reference other podcasts I've been on, other podcast episodes that I record nonchalantly just because I'm kind of lost at sea right now, or drifting, or sailing away, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just looking at the horizon and seeing what I see, calling it out. Hopefully we can make something of it. All right, so I mix up all this coffee, Bushmills as the whiskey base, which leads me to seeing the reintegration story, just trying to, as we make things work, just look at the beautifulness around us, whether it's like we have to travel somewhere for a road trip, so we're following all social distancing practices, but we got to make things done, either in our careers, our personal lives, our families, our friends, or just doing something good for humankind, for our fellow man. So, digress a little bit. I found myself grasping at different resources to channel different feelings within me so that I can create some psychological anchor points for myself so I can pull myself out of those dark areas faster. So that was what this episode was kind of all about, is getting started, how we got here, and where is here, and even if we think about what it is it what we wanted it to be or what we thought it would be? So I'm hoping I'm following some of these good posturing principles and stuff like that, and also kind of staying comfortable, because that's kind of important for me right now to maximize what I believe is the experience and the feelings that I kind of am hoping to embody here and create. So you gotta give yourself the right fuel, the right inputs at the right time. So 2020, am I right? We talked about the whole world kind of going on a deployment all at once, and my unique feeling of responsibility / role in all of it, and me scrambling to alert the people at the bridge that there's an iceberg dead ahead. And once I hear that those pleas are falling on deaf ears, I run to the next person that I can alert with causing the least amount of alarm possible. I don't know, maybe in the engine compartment, maybe in like a different part of the ship where the people are the influencers and they can change the course and the direction and the guide, right? Like, don't worry about the terms, think about the imagery that people can relate to, that people can hear, because I wanted this to be storytelling. I wanted this to be collaborative storytelling. I feel like that's really where I could thrive most naturally. And in my effort to create this platform to have a voice in the chaos of the storm that this world is in, this pandemic that we're all navigating through, even if it's just a beacon, even if it's just a reference point, even if it's nobody's guiding light. But what if it's just something, oh, that's that over there. Okay, I know what that is. If I need something like that, or if I get lost, I know where that is. I can find my way back there. Or hopefully I can find my way back to something that can help me find my way back there. So I started trying to do this podcast in the most sustainable way, easiest, most friction way possible, because of the things I'm going through right now and the things all of us are going through right now. So I'm trying to learn so many new things, and there's this like, oh man, that might be putting too much stress on that piece. Let me try it like this. I guess there's some kind of bubble, a carotid pulse bubble. Don't do that. What do they call that? That's the whooshing and the swooshing. Oh man, what is it? Don't palpate that. I know that it could be plaque buildups, and you do not want to freaking rub the neck there. You don't. Yeah, carotid massage. I don't know, something. There's something there, medical people. You'll know what I'm talking about. Again, anchor points, reference points, things that I can see and call out to find my way back to something. Maybe I'm going to need that little tidbit of knowledge again sometime. So put an anchor in it. Let me see it. Put a little standard, a little flag, a little golf flag, or tie a little ribbon on it. I don't know. Splunking. You ever been splunking? You ever gone down a cave? It gets dark down there. Oh man, and depending on your light and the aperture of the cave things you're crawling through, you can find yourself very alone. Very alone. Even if maybe you can almost touch the person right behind you, or right in front of you, or right next to you. You can probably smell them too, depending on what their physiological state is and how their body reacts to different stressors in their environment. Just leave it like that. Some of you don't get it. So that's what this episode ultimately ended up being about. Well, I had this vision of, oh man, we're going to do this collaborative storytelling, and it's going to be so beautiful. We're going to have Emily and Big Patrick, and we're just going to sit around the boat, just kind of like someone's living room, and we're just going to tell this story about how we as individuals and as a community and as friends and as acquaintances and as people we don't even know can rally together and just create so much beauty in a really short amount of time, in spite of the chaos, with the chaos. And so that was the story that I kind of wanted to paint with you guys, but life happened, COVID happened, whatever you want to call it, and I find myself 13 days before launch with no editable content really recorded. And if I thought that I could edit it as a sound bite or a promotional bite or as something, well, I lost that to the sea, to Poseidon. So, or whatever you want to call it, lurking in those depths. Davy Jones. But the sea's powerful. The sea's mighty. The sea's beautiful. The sea's awe-inspiring. The sea's scary. The sea's a lot of things. To a lot of different people. Especially to those people, it's also a lot of different things to them at different points in their life. And also points in their mindset and their psyche. So I'm really hoping that this audio quality and stuff works, because we're getting close to that deadline, boy. Ooh, and I got a lot of people, a lot of team members that are just like biting their nails right now, like, oh my gosh, is he going to be able to pull it off? Well, I don't know yet. We'll find out. So again, I already I intended to set the foundation in the theme and the style that I was envisioning. A group storytelling experience. Because me, that's kind of where I'm a little bit more comfortable now. And the last 2 months is what I've been preparing myself for. I've turned the world into my dojo to be able to provide an enjoyable, podcast experience that resonates, that helps, that is timely, that is relevant, that gives people tools when they need them, or at least exposes them, so that when they find themselves in that situation, they're like, oh, the Titanic's about to hit an iceberg. I know this. I've seen this. I understand currents, speeds, trajectories, freaking speed over water, relative location, and we will hit that iceberg. I need to tell someone, and the crew's not listening, or they're struggling and surviving in their own way, or getting through whatever moment, or interpersonal dialogue, socio-political relationship, whatever in that moment, but you're just trying to sound the alarm without scaring too many people, because the crisis can be averted if the right people know right now. And if they're not listening, who can we tell? What's the next step? Great questions. Timing. Relevance. Accountability. Healing. Personal needs. Team needs. Goals. Metrics of success. Customer service, brand feel, iceberg, dead ahead. So, in that moment of looking around and seeing what I have available and how can I do both? How can I juggle this? How can I pivot? How can I be flexible? How can I be fluid? How can I react? I didn't want to be a one-man show, but I guess that's the theme of this episode. Isolation. And I want to just throw that anchor out there and kind of get back to a little bit of this sinking ship. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say sinking ship? I apologize. I've just read the book or seen the movie. I happen to know where it ends. Just not maybe how. Unless the right people hear and know and understand the right things at the right time. You can't change history. But what about the future? What can we do now? What can I do? The icebergs are there. The IEDs, the mines, the varying technologies and ages and eras. They're there for all of us. How good are we at detecting them, avoiding them, and still towing that bar forward the safest way possible? And what is safety? I'd say it's way more psychological than it is physical. People want to talk about buds being a physical or mental game. I think safety, same category. Physical versus psychological. Or at least a good anchor point and a good theory to kind of tease out, to talk through, to pontificate, as I believe my good friend Patrick would say. Big Patrick, can't wait till we're able to record again the right way. Thank you for being patient with me as I experimented and tried to find my voice. I know it was hard on you, on me, on our marina, probably the world at large, which brings me back to isolation. Man, when you're in those moments and you're making split-second decisions that could have cataclysmic consequences, and you're just like, holy crap, which wire do I cut? Or which pile of things do I burn? And which ones do I burn first? Because we got to get out of here, and we got to get out of here fast. How fast? I don't know, just really fast. Like, how fast? Just go faster. Don't ask me questions. We got to go, 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 go. Burn it all, burn it all, burn it all. Oh, whoa, that one was close. Where were we again? Alone. Isolated. How did we get here? That's the story I wanted to kind of tell, was the foundational few episodes of the story. I wanted to paint that picture of we're all in this together. And whatever this is to whoever, it does not matter. We are in this together. But if you're not navigating things well, personally, emotionally, physically, financially, everything. When you start raising the alarm, everybody's going to think different things at different times, because guess what? They're most likely in an alarm state too, thanks COVID, right? So I think you're going to see a lot of trends in the future. We're probably going to have a COVID Ranger series where we kind of theme episodes around COVID hacks or COVID experiences, or how I liken, illustrate, or relate it to different deployment experiences for different people. Myself, other Joes, other branches, other services, right? So we all have collective experiences. We all have different experiences. But when we put those experiences together at the right times, with the right application of force and levers, I don't want to say magic can happen, but man, magic can happen. It's phenomenal. Incredible when you see it. And most of the time you miss it in the moment, honestly, because your focus is elsewhere for a good reason. But when you get that second to kind of just look back and check your six a little bit and be like, we just do that? Yeah, that looked pretty good. Yeah, that looked really good. While you were doing it, oh no, it did not feel good at all. It was just like pucker factor for hours, maybe even days sometimes, or years, who knows. Oh man, it's like, ah! So yeah, that's kind of how I felt trying to put this podcast together for you guys, is that pucker factor, and just like, oh man, did I just reinforce and fortify that ship? Did I put some steel and some armor on that, or did I just freaking hit a freaking important structural frame? I don't know. I suppose time will tell, but these ships need to be ready for the sea. What sea? All of them. We don't have a lot of time. What depth? Good question. I don't know how far we're going to have to go, how deep we're going to have to go, how long we're going to have to go, when we're going to see the shore, when we're not. Because everybody's at a different place in this journey. Everybody's on a different style of craft. Some people might not even be on the ocean. Guarantee you a lot of people are lost. How do you find your way out? More things I want to kind of share. Kind of hoping the COVID Ranger series is a little bit more light-hearted, a little bit more fun and funny, some vibrancy there. Again, anchor points, references. I happen to find myself in a position to where I was a COVID safety officer. Well, why would I be a COVID safety officer, you might ask? Well, great question. Funny you should ask that. Well, I have this extensive background in the military, where we have to be able to respond to certain threats that may or may not be out there. So let's just talk about chemical, nuclear, biological, radiological, those type of things. Okay. I have a unique background in that. May not be what most people would think of whenever they think CDC and the WHO in terms of infectious disease. But if someone were trained to use certain personal protective equipment in some very unique and dangerous environments, in various stages of psychological and physical duress, how could those skills be applied to this global situation? Coupled with a medical background, and coupled with someone who finds himself unemployed and ate through all their savings, well, whenever you can find a way to plug a hole to fill a need to make a win-win, you hop right over to that foxhole right over there. That's the one. Yep. There's a lot of bullets going around everywhere. There's a lot of things happening. A lot of things happening really fast, but over there, you might be able to take a few shots at the enemy. You might be able to plug a hole for a buddy and, slow the tide of whatever it is going on in my personal battle in this whole big freaking crazy scenario. So that's what we do. So that's why I'm hopping over there. Plugging holes. Helping out. Whew. Isolation. Sorry. I got a little carried away in that linear thought. Got a little spun up. Sounding the alarm. Isolation. Big Patrick. Relationships. Did I put armor on it, or did I damage the structural integrity? Little stuff that'll buff out. I mean, that's just the cost of doing business and good living right there. You know what I'm saying? But don't want to compromise the structure. So, Big Patrick, what I'm trying to say is I look forward to the day that we return, we reunite, and we can put our voices out into the world the way we dreamed about, even though I had no idea what I was doing, and I probably scared the ever-living out of you and a lot of people around us. So,
Thank you for joining us today on this curious roller coaster of life. If this is your stop, please exit peacefully and enjoy the rest of your day. If you're ready for another one, just push play. A final note before you go: thank you. And thank you for feeling. The distillation and aging process is different for everyone. I'm not quite sure what you're ready for, so please sip slowly and enjoy responsibly.
Baby says she's leaving if I don't stop drinking wine. So I switched to whiskey and I'm feeling fine. Drinking that smooth whiskey. No more wine.